Thank you all so very, very much. This is a very special day for me and for my family, for my wife Sandra, to see so many old friends and so many new friends that we have made in the course of this campaign. We've just a few more days to go. We feel good. We think the momentum is moving in our direction. But we are just very pleased today to have someone with us who carries special significance to the state of Georgia. Now, this is a person that's not just somebody from the outside who's endorsing a candidate for governor of Georgia who doesn't know who they are. And I'm going to tell you how he knows who I am. Most of you know who Mike Huckabee is. He was one of the youngest governors in our country when he was elected as the 44th governor of the state of Arkansas. He had previously served as the lieutenant governor of that state. He is about as multi-talented as anybody you can imagine. He is the author of 7 books, several that have been on the New York Times bestseller list. He is a television host with a daily program and a weekend program that is one of the most popular shows on Fox television. He is also served as a co-chair and as the chairman of the National Governors Association. And of course, as most of you will remember, in the 2008 presidential preferential primary in the state of Georgia, he received the most votes of any candidate for the presidency of the United States. But let me tell you how I know Mike Huckabee. 5 years ago, he was the co-chair of the National Governors Association. He came to Washington to testify about the growing program that we know as Medicaid, a joint partnership between the federal government and the state to provide health care. He came because he knew that there was a crisis that was very imminent. His words were to the effect, if we don't do something to curb the cost of Medicaid, you're going to bankrupt every state in this country. Now, sometimes, you know, we're accustomed to hearing from political figures. I was the chairman of that subcommittee on health. I expected maybe we would just have a television appearance before a congressional committee, and once the camera lights were turned off, that we wouldn't hear any more or receive any help. Nothing could be further from the truth. Mike Huckabee is somebody who backs his words up with actions. And he came back and sat down with me many times, brought his staff, we worked together, and we reformed Medicaid and saved the taxpayers of this country about $20 billion. Please join with me in giving a rousing welcome to my good friend, the former governor of the state of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. When I see this many people on a Sunday afternoon, I figure the congressman must have promised you all free ice cream or something to get this many people out of a hot August day. But I'll tell you why I'm excited to be here. This man I stand beside is the real deal. You know, there were a lot of reasons that I could have certainly used to say, I just don't think I'll get involved in the middle of a primary race in Georgia. But then I realized there were a couple of reasons that I needed to be here. For a person who has been a friend of mine and a colleague of mine toward good conservative principles of government, over the past 8 or 9 years. And I want to explain something as to why I came today, because a lot of you say, hey, Huckabee, you don't vote in Georgia. That's true, I don't. But if I did, I'd be voting for Nathan Deal. Truth is, in Arkansas, we always said if you couldn't get the cemetery vote, you couldn't get elected. One of the reasons that I am a Christian and believe in the resurrection is because I watch dead people vote every year in election time. My home county, down in Hempstead County, where Hope is, one election year, 2 old boys were out at the cemetery and they were taking names off the tombstones, and the way it works is they'll get the names off the tombstones and they go down to the courthouse and vote those folks absentee. And they were taking names off the tombstones, and one of the fellows got up to one, he walked past it, his partner said, hey, did you get the name off that tombstone? He said, I can't make it out, it's so old, I can't read it. He said, no, get back over and get the name off that tombstone. He said, I told you, I can't read it, I can't make out what the name is. He said, and I told you, get over and get that name off. One more time, he said, look, you get over there and get the name off that tombstone. He said, and I can't read it. I can't make a thing out of it. He said, I don't care what you have to do. You get a name off that tombstone because he's got as much right to vote as anybody else in this cemetery. I figured if dead folks can vote in my state, it wouldn't hurt for me to come over here and help a guy that I think the world of. And I'm here for a few reasons that I want to share with you this afternoon. All kidding aside, I was a governor for nearly 11 years, and I think I have a little understanding of what the job is about and what it takes to be a good one. Not saying I was a good one, but I understand what it takes to be a good one. And one of the things it takes is an authenticity of one's convictions. It's not a person who looks around and says, hey, you know what, I think that there are certain things that if I take a stand on these during this election, it might get me elected. One of the things I came to understand about Congressman Deal is the convictions that you have heard him express are not simply convictions that he has ginned up for this election cycle, because if you look at his voting record, everything he's saying to you is exactly what he has done here in Georgia and in Washington, D.C. And there is a good outlook to be expected from Nathan Deal to be your governor. I'm extremely grateful that when I did run for president, that there was several states in which the folks were smart enough to think I'd have made a pretty good president. Now, I sure wish the rest of the country had been as smart as Georgia had been back then. But I cannot help but believe that the same Georgia that was smart enough to give me their confidence wouldn't be smart enough to make sure that their next governor is named Nathan Deal.